where we learn it so we can do it and boost it. This is kind of a how-to plus Q&A with me here from the Digital Boost team. So we run a lot of sessions. I think we've run about 500 of these sessions to date since we started off in early 2021. And what I think is always good to do after we've had so many learnings is to do a bit of a recap on some of the fundamentals of what we delve into. So each session, we kind of target a specific area of business. But in this session, we're going to put all that information together to get a round picture of what we've kind of learned about what are the key elements that we need to think about if we're running a business. So I've been very fortunate to have some beautiful people here on Digital Boost teach me so many things, and I hope you guys have gotten the learnings as well. Now, if you're tuning in on social media, because I'm running this session and I'm facilitating this session, I'm going to have to get back to those questions a little bit later, but I thought we would kick off with the first point. So I'm going to give you 5 business key fundamentals. And the first one we're going to talk about is your business plan. So obviously business plans are so important so that we have a trajectory. We know where we want to go. We want to make sure that those business plans have actionable steps, right? And we want to review those steps regularly. So we've had Jung from the business coaching team here, and he's talked about making those, reviewing your business plan, especially if you've got a smaller business, quite regularly. You could do it every quarter. If it's better for you to have small goals, then maybe you review it a little bit sooner than that, but at least every 6 months, sit down, review your business plan, and make adjustments. And a part of that business plan should include understanding who your customer is, that customer persona, and really nutting out who is that person, putting a name to that person, and understanding what problems they have that you're going to solve. Now, it's been said that we should have probably 20 problems. Now, that's a lot. It's easy to come up with maybe 1 to 5 problems that our customers are facing. But if you can nut it out to about 20 problems, it's been said that that is the magic number and is going to help you to better target your market. As I believe Jung said, many people sell, if you're trying to sell to everyone, you're selling to nobody. So make sure that you're really figuring out who your customer is and then putting those steps into action, getting through your business plan. Now, the second part of this session, or the second key business element, is something that I think is often overlooked or put to the side, or there's a bit of procrastination that happens with this one because we want to just get busy and get going. But that's financial awareness, okay, is our second point. Financial awareness is so important when you run a business. And we're going to talk about financial goals. So with your business plan, you're looking at where you want to get your business to. That's going to include these financial goals. Why are you doing this? Often we start a business because we don't want to work 40 hours a week for somebody else, and we end up working 70 to 80 hours a week by ourselves. So I want you to keep in mind that having a goal, understanding your finances is super important, and that your accountant does more than your taxes, okay? They're able to sit down with you and talk to you about your business and how it's doing financially and where you want to go. They can often discuss on how you can get there. So make sure you're leaning on those guys and getting everything you can out of them. It's super important. Understanding your budget. So are you budgeting, or are you just kind of, there's this term that we say in marketing, spray and pray, right? Are we just sending money out there, just hoping that it will work for us? Do we have a budget? Do we understand our numbers? So making sure that you get those ducks in a row. And speaking of ducks in a row, it has just been tax time, and perhaps you're still doing your taxes. It's super important to have your accounts set up with clarity. So a lot of times I think small businesses kick off as a little bit of a hobby business, and we just have all the finances going into our personal accounts. But some of the cool things that we've learned from Sam Harith from the Comic Accountant SH Advisory is that it's really important to have separate accounts for our business. and possibly multiple accounts. So you might have a business account that the funds come into, and then you might have an account that you've set aside that has your tax money in it, that has your ACC or all of that kind of stuff, so that when it comes to tax time, you're not sorting through all of your personal finances and your business finances at the same time. Look, accountants really like that clarity, and it's going to allow them to assist you a lot better. And the third thing that I think is really important about having financial awareness, and it ties into this loosely, it ties into business plan. I mean, of course, all of these key five elements are going to cross over in paths. And the last thing I want to talk about in financial awareness is understanding a pricing strategy and having a pricing strategy. So we had the lovely Natalie Kuhn come on, and she was talking about pricing strategies. So understanding what kind of money you need to charge for your services or your products so that you actually hit your financial goals. Now, you can use some market evaluation on what other people are pricing, but Natalie actually got into some really good strategies on how you can discern what is the proper pricing for you. And whenever I think of pricing, I always think about Studio 54, where there was this nightclub. It wasn't very popular, but what they did was have people stand outside in a line, and they built this kind of, I want to get in there vibe. And it became the most popular nightclub, right? So it wasn't because it was the cheapest. It wasn't because of anything else. They just created this energy around it. You don't have to necessarily be the cheapest thing out there in order to get customers to your door. I mean, obviously, we want to be authentic. We want to make sure that we are delivering a good service, but we also want to make sure that we can eat, so make sure that you're not lowballing yourself. And if you need help with a pricing guide, then reach out to people who know what they're talking about. Now, the third element that I want to talk about, I originally had this just as digital marketing, but then I realized, whoa, slow your roll, Anamari. We need to talk about digitization. So we've got our business plan, right? We're reviewing it regularly. We're understanding our customers. We've got our financial awareness. And maybe some of you will disagree with the order of these things, but this is how I see it, okay? We've got our financial kind of situation on lock, or at least we know where we stand. And then we want to delve into digitization. So we're talking about websites, okay? I'm going to get into digital marketing, and I know that these sessions, digital marketing sessions, pop on Digital Boost. So you get just hundreds of people joining us for those sessions. But often you talk to these folks and they don't have a website yet. You don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram, you don't own LinkedIn, but you do own your website. And it's super important to have a website, to be looking at those keywords, getting help with that kind of stuff if you need it, and making sure that your website is up to date. There's nothing worse than going to somebody's website and all the information is not valid, or some of the most important information is not valid, okay? Making sure that your website is up to date, optimizing your website. So making sure that your images and all of that kind of stuff is locked in so that it loads quickly. We want a fast load speed. People don't have the patience anymore to wait for your website to load. And often there's some quick fixes that you can do in order to get your website running a lot faster. We also want to make sure that we are making our websites accessible. So we know from B Lab, and they're going to be on in May, because we've got GAD, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, coming up. We want to make sure that our websites are accessible. And that's talking about having high contrast in between the text and the background. It's about making sure that your fonts are easy to read. It's making sure that the process streams through. And there's great guides online, tools that you can use to assess your website and make sure that it ticks all of those boxes. We're going to delve into that with B Lab coming up on May 18th. So tune into that session if you want to get some help. And the last thing that I want to talk about with websites is, is your website mobile friendly? I mean, how many of us actually sit down on our laptop to do quick searches for businesses that we're looking for in town, right? If I'm heading into town, I'm not bringing my laptop, I'm bringing my phone, and I'm going to jump on my phone, I'm going to jump onto Google, and I'm going to do a quick search, and then I'm going to load that website. So making sure that your website is mobile friendly is so important. And often with the website builders, you can go on and have either a look at what it looks like on a desktop and have a look at what it looks like on a mobile. Make sure that you're really checking that out. And if you need help, just reach out and get some help, because that is those website builders' job, is to help you. You're paying them for a service. Don't forget that, and get some help that you need in order to make sure that that is happening for your website. Don't miss out on those customers, and don't miss out on the million New Zealanders that require accessibility. It's a huge market, and it's just the right thing to do. I want to talk about next is automation. So you've got your website all set up, you're ready to go, but you're a one-man band or you're a mom and pop shop. And one of the hardest things to do is to juggle all the tasks that you need to do for your business and get back to people who are inquiring. If you automate, you can get some of that precious time back and actually just budget your time a little bit better. So what I'm talking about here is, say someone inquires and an automated email goes to them saying, thanks so much for reaching out. I get back to people in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. They then feel that they have been seen and they know that they're going to get back to you, and it allows you to move on. You can also use things like chat bots and all of these cool digital tools that we talk about on Digital Boost in order to automate your business. It gets into email marketing, and there's so much there's so much here. It's hard to kind of put it in a nutshell, but let's talk about automation, or let's do automation in our business. The next part of it is digital tools. So what are you using? Are you using Trello? Are you using Asana? Are you using collaborative tools, Canva or Design Space? Are you using digital tools in order to help you to save time? I mean, one of the biggest things that's been talked about recently is ChatGPT. I really loved when we had a guest on and they talked about this app called Writer. It's RYTR, I believe. That tool's super cool, very, very similar to ChatGPT, saving yourself some time by automating or streamlining some of your processes is going to enable you to work on your business instead of having to do all of this admin heavy load that may not be helping you to make money, right? So we want to use these digital tools in order to make your life a little bit easier and get back some of that precious time. Maybe that time isn't spent on your business or in your business. Maybe it's spent with your family, okay? So have a look at some digital tools. We've got so many resources on Digital Boost that you can check out digital tools, go to the category, have a look around, give them a bit of a try. We had a guest on a long time ago that said, you know, when I see a new button, when I'm using a tool, I push it. You know, I think we often go into our digital tools, we might have a set amount that we use, and then new, I guess, advances or iterations are done on these tools, and we never take the time to have a look at some of these new things. And often those new things have been built because of the feedback that folks like yourself are sending to these organizations. And they're going, oh, actually, if that's going to make our customers' lives easier, we're going to build it in. So make sure you're always checking out what the new things are on the tools that you're using. And I would also say on that note, making sure that you do an evaluation on your subscriptions and the tools that you're doing every 6 months, and ask yourself if it actually has value. Is it doing a service for me, or is it taking up my time? Is there a better service that I could use that work more fluently with what I'm trying to do. So reviewing your digital tools every 6 months is a great kind of pro tip. It's not my pro tip. Okay. A great pro tip to make sure that you are getting the most bang for your buck out of your subscriptions and or the tools that you're using. I want to go into digital marketing here. So this is number 4, digital marketing. Huge topic. Okay. We're not going to dive deep, but I wanted to just kind of do a bit of a high level or overview on some of the key elements for digital marketing that we need to remind ourselves of. So we need to have a digital marketing strategy, right? And that's about understanding where our customers live. Look, if you sell coats for puppies, I always say this, or dogs, then you're not really advertising on LinkedIn. In your business plan, you've built this persona. Okay, now let's find out, where do those people actually sit so that we can market to them on those platforms. Now, sometimes it takes us to places where we don't feel comfortable, like TikTok or Instagram, where we have to do things on those platforms in order to be seen. And what we've heard from the wonderful John Mayberry is you need to get out of your head and get in front of the camera, get in front of the mic, because people want to get to know you. Okay, they're buying you. So understanding where your customers live and making sure that you're targeting those folks. I would say that also ties into comparisons. So maybe having a look at what other businesses in your industry are doing on those platforms and see if that actually resonates with who you are. Of course, authenticity is super important when you are advertising yourself and your business. And we don't want you to be turning around and, if you're not a dancer and you're singing and dancing, it's not going to be authentic. And perhaps those aren't the people that you're looking for. Really understanding how you fit with your business and how you can advertise that part of you and what you do or what you sell to the folks that are out there. They're looking for you. Okay. So if we don't put ourselves out there, how are we going to find them? If we're going to go to the troubles, this is my third point in digital marketing. If we're going to go to the trouble of doing digital marketing, take a look at your numbers. Analytics, right? Oh, scary. We hate analytics. We don't know what to do with them. I've had so many folks come on here. We talk about Google Analytics. We talk about our insights off of Instagram, off of our Facebook pages, our LinkedIn pages, all of this kind of stuff. Look, the numbers are important. It's a really good idea to get in the habit of reviewing the numbers, especially if you're doing a marketing spend on how that advertisement has performed or how that post has performed. That's going to help you to understand your customers and what they're looking to see so that you can create more content in that way. Okay. So taking a look at the numbers, and we're actually having John T on for our workshop this week from Kepler. They've developed a tool that pretty much does everything from building the marketing asset all the way through to the analytics and helps you kind of optimize with that. If you're interested in checking it out, join us on Thursday with our session with John T. Hodge. He's amazing. And we had a great overview session last week, and now we're going to dive deep. So I hope to see you there for that. So analytics. What's my fourth one? Collaboration. Okay. So I'm big on collaboration. I think collaboration allows you to access a market of customers that are interested in something that's similar to your brand, but maybe haven't found you yet. Collaboration with another business that's in line with your ethos, that's in line with not just the ethical part behind what you do, but also the your story, your vision, your kind of, I'm going to say vibe. It's so kitsch, but anyway, your vibe. So for example, if I was a yoga teacher and I knew somebody that sold healing oils or, there's always those advertisements on mushroom coffee or things like that. can you reach out to those folks and say, hey, look, I've got this business. It's really in line with what you're doing. I've got this kind of market. You've got this kind of market. I think that our two types of customers would be interested in to see what each other has to offer. And then putting together some kind of marketing strategy with them where you can kind of piggyback off of each other a little bit and expand both of your networks. I think collaboration is underutilized, and we try to do it by ourselves all the time because we just don't know how to get started. But that's about getting involved in your community and or getting involved and following people online, reaching out to them online, giving them shout outs. I mean, you see it all the time on Instagram and those pages where they're giving shout outs to each other, and then those start to generate leads. I mean, essentially that's what influencers do, right? Is that they use the, hey, check out this product, and then buy blah, 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 give them a shout out, and then it starts to generate this little bit of a relationship. So it's done a little bit differently, I'd say, these days online versus going and finding another business in your community, but you can do it that way as well. So have a think about it. And I think the last part about digital marketing that's super important to remember is that if this is not your bag, if using a digital tool to help you do your digital marketing or doing it yourself is not something that you're good at, but you know that you need it, because we do know we need it, right? Then outsourcing is something that you can look at. It's not always going to be the best for you, depending on your finances or where you're at. But that's why it's so important to know your finances and your financial awareness. Is the return on investment from getting somebody to help me with these things going to give me more sales so that I can then grow my business and then be able to take on, more projects or offer more services? So have a think about that. Outsourcing is something I think we often have a hard time investing in our business, whether it's investing in advertisements or investing in people helping us with our business. But sometimes when we actually put some money into our business, it allows us to get lots of money out. It's all about that, just really understanding your numbers and being able to, is this a hobby or is this a business, right? So a lot of times we start off as a hobby, but we never leave that mindset. And I'm going to trail into that kind of vibe with the fifth point, which I think is super important in business, and that's mental health. Okay. And mental health awareness. Now, I know this isn't digital, but we do have lots of digital tools that can help with mental health, like Clearhead. Dr. Angela Lim has developed an amazing tool that you can use. And so you can check that out. She's a lovely, lovely person that realized that there was a kind of gap where people couldn't access the mental health services that they needed. So she's developed this really cool app. Check it out. Clearhead. Now, mental health. On the topic of outsourcing, first, I want to talk about business coaching and having a coach. Some of the most successful people that I've had the pleasure of hosting on Digital Boost have talked about the fact that having a business coach has really helped them solidify what their goals are, so that they could and have accountability so that they could move forward with their business. I think it's interesting that we spend pretty much the first 18 to 20 years of our lives having essentially coaches, like our teachers, our parents, our grandparents, our funnel. We've got just sports coaches, and all of them help guide us, hopefully, through to where we wanted to go. And then we come out into the real world, and we're out here on our own. Some of us get mentors through our job or what have you. But a lot of times when we start our own business, all of a sudden we're flying solo, and we don't have a coach, right? We don't have that person to keep us accountable anymore. And then we wonder why we feel like we're swimming or like trying to stay above water. We're having a hard time prioritizing. We're having a hard time getting ourselves together to get the job done. And I think that it's really tied into the fact that, we're so used to having those somebody else outline for us assessment dates and things like that. And we come out and we don't know how to do that for ourselves, because we actually, although they kind of teach us that, it's those curriculums are outlined. We go, right, I have this assessment due on this date, la, 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 la. The teacher reminds you, they prep you for it, and they get you ready. Well, that's what a business coach does, right? So having a look at business coaching, if that's somewhere where you're floundering in your business, maybe that's a good option for you. Now I'm going to move into a little bit deeper into the mental health. Okay. I think understanding or recognizing your limits. You are one person. Maybe you have a team of more individuals. Maybe you don't. A lot of the folks that I chat with here on Digital Boost are one-man bands, mom and pop shops. It's just them. They don't have anybody to help them with things. And they burn out because they're just working an insane amount of hours and trying to juggle their personal lives along with their business. Understand your limits, put in breaks, understand and set boundaries with your working hours. And that's why digital tools are super helpful, because we can budget in that downtime, that time of reflection, that self-care time, if we have some of our processes digitized. And so that's doing the work for you while you're not working, right? So let's understand our limits and make sure that we're setting boundaries using automation. And finally, I think the most important thing to wrap up these 5 key business fundamentals is asking for help. Look, it doesn't have to be somebody from your family. It doesn't have to be, ask for help. Talk to people maybe in your industry, in a like-minded industry, join a business network. There are lots of ways that we can ask for help if you don't have it within your family unit. And I think that we often allow ourselves to get to the point with the she'll be right attitude where we completely burn out and we haven't taken care of ourselves. And then all of a sudden we're in this position where we have to take a break, or we have to just drop what we're doing because mentally we can't take on any more stress, right? I know personally I've gone through burnout. It's something that it can really very slowly creep up on you to the point where all of a sudden you're thinking, how did I get to here? And making sure that you reach out and get the support that you need, whether it's professional help or help from your funnel. Lean into people who have mentored you, into your business coach if you've got one, into your team. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself when you're running a business, because it can be isolating and it can be overwhelming, and it's also a lot of work. And a lot of times in the first 2 years of business, that's the push, right? Most small businesses fail after in the first 2 years. I hate the statistic, but it's real. And a lot of that is due to burnout, and just the inability to understand financially what they needed to know in order to be able to continue to run the business, and understanding how to set your goals and be able to accomplish those goals, understanding all the facets. I think that one of the things we do is we go, oh yeah, this is a cool idea. Taking the time to unpack what that really looks like, what's involved, and then educating yourself so that you can do it in a way that's going to work for you. And that's what Digital Boost is here for, folks. We are education. So you can use Digital Boost to educate yourself on digital tools, digital marketing strategies. We've had such amazing providers and suppliers come on. You can hear stories. Our real world stories are absolutely beautiful, where we interview our talk to small businesses around Aotearoa and find out what digital tools they're using, how they got started. Everyone starts from zero. So remember, you don't have to start way up here. Everybody starts here, but sometimes hearing somebody else's story can really help you to know that you're not alone and that you can make it, you can do it. Yeah. We also have our amazing tool, Checkable. I probably say amazing too much. Amazing tool, Checkable. So you can pop your website in there, pop your social media handles in there, have a look at what you're actually doing. There's quick fixes, so things that you can do yourself to get your website optimized, to perform better online. We've got it goes in a little bit deeper where you can find out some of the other things that you could do that might take a little bit more time. And then it goes into a deep dive of some of the more long-term shifts that you could make. And some of those you can do yourself, and some of them you might need to get some help with. All right. In addition, the Checkable tool will look at your social media handles. I believe Google Ads is just about to get sorted. So we're just working through that with our team and the Google team, making sure that that element of Checkable is running smoothly. This is an AI tool. There will always be iterations to that tool, meaning changes. There'll always be things that we need to, improve. And we love feedback. So please lean on our CX team, as we call them, customer experience team. We are here to help. They are fabulous digital experts that can help have chats with you, one-on-one chats, to talk about your business and where you're trying to go and how we can help you get there. They'll help you with those checkable results if you need to know about what it's actually saying. They'll help direct you to content that will enable you to do some study and get your business going. And sometimes it's nice, if you were just working by yourself, to know that you've got a team there to support you. And that's what our Digital Boost customer experience team does. They're absolutely fabulous. Can't give them enough credit. Yeah, lean on us. And we hope that you have a great day, that you reach all your business goals. So to do a quick wrap up, we talked about business plans. Make sure you got your business plan. We talked about financial awareness. We talked about digitization and digital marketing. And then finally, we talked about mental health. Now, I hope to see you guys on Thursday as with my session with Jonty. It's a workshop. So remember, if you're sitting out there on social media, you can't attend the workshops there. You've got to register for them. So I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Ka kite.